Hello everyone, welcome back to TIA Vlog series. I'm Ada, I'm your host, and it's always a pleasure to sit with you and have a chat. Welcome again to my vlog. It's December. Wow, I wonder what's happened. The month's flown so fast, everything has just gone so quickly. It's been one hell of a year. It's been very eventful for me personally, in my private life, in my personal life, in my work, at home as a mother, and just generally speaking, it's been very eventful. Most importantly, this year, I started this vlog sometime in the first quarter of the year, and so far so good. I haven't done badly. I've managed to load as many videos as humanly possible, although I'd love to load more videos, upload more videos for you guys, but somehow I've managed to pull it this far. I hope to keep going. I hope subscribers who are watching this video today would end up clicking the subscribe button, would end up liking the page, follow me on Instagram, follow me on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook channel. It's TIA. So yes, I've not done badly this year, have I? I give myself a pat on the back. Well, welcome again to today's subject. I'm going to be talking about a subject that's very touching, a bit morbid, some people might consider, but it's actually, as you already know, it's about something that's happening in the United Kingdom. It's something that's very touching. I hope I can do justice to this subject today. I will try my best. I'm looking at this topic, which is the stabbings, the knife killings in London, in UK. I'm looking at it from the perspective of a mother, a daughter, a friend, a cousin, a sister, a human being, above all, a black woman. The reports we have on the media and on some of the data I'm going to be showing you later in this video is that in the whole of 2018, there's been about nearly 100 stabbings. And out of those 100, 38% of that fraction is all black kids. They're all black boys, black young teenage boys. Don't get me wrong. We've got Asians as well being stabbed. We've got Chinese people being stabbed. We've got, mixed race kids being stabbed. We've got people who are in their 40s, in their 50s, in their, whatever age group being stabbed. But what is most alarming is that it's the teenage boys, it's the young black African boys who are actually rising in toll in the number of deaths. And what is the cause? It's stabbings, knife stabbings, or gang stabbings, postcode stabbings, rival stabbings, all various reasons. But the fact is they're all stabbings, they're all knife killings. And the question I ask today is why? Why is this happening? Where is it coming from? Who is the cause? Is it the parents? Is it the system? Or is it the child? Take a look at these faces, just some faces that we've lost in this year, 2018. Just take a look now, guys. Welcome back again, guys. Right, those faces, as you probably have guessed, are the faces of the boys we've lost. A lot of these kids died from knife crime, for just senseless killings. I call them senseless because at the end of the day, if you look into the story behind the deaths of these boys, they're just senseless. They're either being stabbed because they're from a rival gang, or they're being stabbed because they're from a different postcode, a rival postcode, or they're being stabbed as a result of mistaken identity, or they're being stabbed as a case of revenge or getting even, or they're being stabbed because they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, or just a payback. There's several reasons, but let's not look into the reasons right now. What we should be looking at is what has been happening behind the scene. What has led young, intelligent, smart, good-looking, skilled, and children with such great potential, what has led them to that path where they have to carry knives? As a mother, I have a teenage son. My son is 15, and I'm not going to use myself as a yardstick because I know that not everyone is like me. I pretty much class myself as a very tough mother. I'm very old school in my beliefs, in my tradition, in my way of, raising children. I'm very old school, and I don't see anything wrong with that. A lot of people might think, oh, I'm old school, I should get away from it and get in touch with what is happening in the 21st century. But it doesn't work that way for me. I'd like to be old school. I pick what I want my child to be raised by. I pick the values, the value system I raise my children with. But it's not about me here today. It's about the Black community. I was listening to LBC News the other day, and I heard what's his name, Nick Ferrari. He was talking about stabbings again, because every time you look into TV, you put on the news, you're listening to radio, it's all about Black kids being stabbed. It's becoming a menace in the society. It's becoming an epidemic. That's all you hear. The media is going on and on and on and on about Black children, Black boys being killed. The tolls are rising. So my question again is, Black community, where did we get it wrong? Is it something we're not doing? Is it something we're not doing enough of? Is it something that we haven't done at all? Or is it the system just pushing the story out there to make it seem worse than it really is? Or is it just that the children themselves have lost it? The children have no parental control any longer. The children are not listening to their parents. The children have no parental figures. What is it exactly? I mean, this is a very open discussion, people. If you're watching this video today, I'd like you to, leave a comment. I'd like you to say something about this topic, because time and time again, I sit back and I wonder. I'm a qualified early years practitioner, so I work with children on a level I'm allowed to work with children. I've been working with children from primary school up until year 6 when it's time for them to get into secondary school. And I begin to look at that step. I trace it back. A child who is in nursery, reception, works his way through to year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, and then he's done with primary school. And then that's at the age of 10, 11, depending on when the child is born. At that stage, when your child is 10, 11, you got to be on your tippy toes, because that is when the child starts to go home by himself from school. He gets on the bus by himself. He travels on the train by himself. He walks on the streets by himself. You can send him on errands to go and get you a bottle of milk or a jar of butter or whatever downstairs from the corner shop. These are the times when these children interact more with complete strangers. And as a parent, it behoves on you to know who your child is relating to, who your child is interacting with. This is the step I take for my child. There are birthday parties. There will be birthday parties. There will be events where your child wants to go. Personally, if I do not know my child's friend's mom or dad, when I mean no, if I haven't met them before, I haven't had an opportunity to interact with them, my child's not going for that party. I'm sorry. I need to know the child's mother or father. I need to have interacted with them. I need to have spoken to them once or twice. Somehow I will make the time to get to know this parent of this family, because what you instill in your child says a lot about your family values. And if I'm not getting the right vibe from a child, if I'm not seeing what I expect to see from a child, my question is not to the child, my question is to the parent. I'm not saying that there are bad parents, good parents, poor parents, or rich parents. The fact is, as a human being, what your values are, what you hold dear, is what you will pass on to your child. What you believe is right is what you will pass on to your child. You cannot give your child what you do not have. If your values are below standards, your standards might be low. Somebody else's standards might be too high for you. But whatever standard you choose to raise your child by, just remember that child will be judged by the society. That child, I'm talking about a child now, not a teenager. That child would reflect you as a mother. That child is a mirror for you as a father. So whether you like it or not, what a child displays out there is what you as a parent allow, is what you as a parent has instilled in that child. And whatever you instill in that child is what the child goes out there to show. Now, a child goes from primary school into secondary school. Year 7 is a very tricky stage because it's a huge leap from primary school onto secondary school. This is what we call in Nigeria Form 1. Year 7, the child is 11. You find 10-year-olds there, you find 11-year-olds there. This is where the perpetrators out there on the streets, the drug dealers, the gang people, the leaders of gang, this is where they target them the most. They target them at that age group. This age group are very impressionable. They want to wear the latest trainers. They know the latest trainers. Don't even ask me how. They know all the names of all the meals in McDonald's. They know what's the latest meal. The meal for the meal deals. They know the meal for the day, the week, the month. They know all these things because they're interacting amongst themselves. These children are learning from the streets. They're learning from the classroom. They're learning from peers on the playground. It's inevitable. So as a parent, if you have a child in year 7 or in year 6, that is when your parenting skills need to be up. That is when your antennas, your tentacles, literally you need to be up like that, because you want to pick up on everything that child is doing and you want to quickly nip it in the bud. Get rid of what you don't want him to go with and try and push forward what you need him to go with. Because my take on this at this stage is, if a child gets to the age of 10, 11, and you as a parent take your eyes off that child, it gets harder for that child to come back on track. Because from 11, 12, 13, 14, they're going into the precarious stage, which is the teenage years. And when they're teenagers, their hormones are playing up. They're neither adults, neither are they children, and they don't know where they belong. There's a confusion. This is my perspective on it. There's a confusion going on in their little heads, their little minds. Bless them. And it's only natural. And, you see teenagers, coming up with this attitude. They're full of attitude. There's a lot of anger in them. I mean, I'm talking about the boys now. They're always very angry. They're always ready, always on the attack or in the defense. The testosterone in them is really pumping high. Every little thing, they go, wow, 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 You need to take a look as a parent. Take a step back and understand what that child is going. It's easier said than done. I admit it's very easy for me to sit here and say what I'm saying. But when you're faced with it, either as a single parent, let's look at a single parent, for instance. I'm a single mother. I'm a lone parent. I'm raising my 2 kids on my own with no help. Right? And I know there are thousands of women out there who are doing the same thing. But that does not mean you're weak because there's no partner there. Yes, you're doing more than you should do, because suddenly you become the mother, you become the father, you probably become the uncle and the friend and all that, depending on the age group of your child. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of pressure, particularly if your child is a teenager. I know that some women are not as strong as the others. Some women don't have that sort of willpower to push through. I mean, we're all different. We all have different strengths. But if you're a single parent or a lone parent and you're raising a teenage boy, if it gets too much, if the stress or the rigors of, watching that boy, being on his case 24/7, it's too much for you, then you have to reach out. You have to go to your friends, who have partners. You need to reach out to your church, to your friends, to distant families. You can reach out to anyone you think, you admire the value that they have raised their child by. And the thing is, we Africans, we're always in the habit of judging, because we're going to feel judged. We sometimes clamor and don't speak out. A child might be slowly, losing it at home. A child might be slowly going off the rails at home. And because you don't want the other family to laugh at you or judge you or make out that you're not a good parent, then you clamor, you hide what you're facing with. You see, as an adult, you're trying to save your face, but you're not saving that child's future. As an adult, you're not crying out, but you're slowly destroying that boy's future. Now, in terms of gangs, I want to understand gangs. What is a gang? Somewhere where they make you feel wanted, where they make you feel loved, where they make you feel like, you're a hard man, you're a chief. I'm trying to understand what is the attraction to becoming a gang member. Some of these boys are pressured, not because they want to be gang members, but sometimes they're coming home from school, a particular boy or face keeps staring at them, a particular face is bullying them on the way back from school, a particular older face keeps saying to them, hey, come over here. What's your name? Where'd you live? And then the flashlight is on that child. Every time he's on his way back from school, this older child looks out for him. This older face is watching him on the streets in the local area, wanting to know who his mom is, wanting to know if he has a dad in the picture, wanting to know if he's from a single parent family or if he's a vulnerable child. They prey on these children to send them on little drug errands or little errands so that eventually they can reward them with maybe £20, £10. This, I cannot articulate the different means, ways where these boys are slowly groomed to becoming gang members or groomed to eventually end up carrying knives for their own protection. There's so many reasons, a variety of reasons, but ultimately, I want to use this vlog today to let parents, sisters, aunties, uncles, the Black community understand that we have a responsibility. Whether you're a single mom or not, whether you're a single father or not, whether you have a child, a biological child or not, if you see a Black kid who is misbehaving publicly, there's an African adage that says it takes a village to raise a family, to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a child. One person cannot raise a child. One biological mother or biological father cannot raise a child on their own. If you're a Black person, you're an African, and you see a child, a Black kid, doing something wrong, you need to be able to speak out. Some people say you can't speak to them because they've probably got knives on them. At that stage, when a child begins to go about with knives, yes, you've got to be careful because you don't want them to chef you up, which is, by the way, the slang for being knifed or stabbed. They chef you up. Yes, I understand that you've got to act with caution, but ultimately you can lend your voice from a distance. You can, you can rebuke that child from a distance. You don't have to be nasty about it. They're caring words, they're kind words that you can just drop. And that child will think about what his actions or eventual consequences will be. This topic cannot be contained in one video. I know that. This topic is very deep and it's very heart-wrenching because every day I go on TV, I do my searches, my researches, I'm seeing young Black boys, there's so many of them. The closest to my heart was the 15-year-old boy, Jordan, who was stabbed in Romford in Essex, a 15-year-old kid. And he's so close because I've got a 15-year-old child. So that really, really dug deep to me. I don't know this kid. I've never met him. But regardless, I feel the pain of his mother, of his father, of his family, because no parent should bury a child. It's not a feeling, it's not an emotion, it's not an event, it's not the sort of thing I wish for any parent at all, to bury a child. It's the most heart-wrenching thing anyone can face. I'm going to stop this vlog here today, but I want us to think about the fact that African community, African families, we need to figure out what we want to do, what we're doing less of, that we need to do more of. We need to find our voices, because to me, it seems as if African Black communities were embracing foreign cultures so much, and we've forgotten what it is to be African. When you raise your child by an African standard, the child will not talk back when you speak. When you give the child instructions, they listen, they obey. Children will be children, which is they will try and push your boundaries. They will try to make you, look like you're crazy in the head. But that's what being a child is. But as an African, with African culture, with the African style of parenting, you know how we instill so much respect into children. If you want to raise your child by the European, the foreign standard, that's fine. If it makes you happy, that's fine. It's the end product of that child that will determine which has worked. Personally, I raised my kids the African way. I think that worked for me, and I think it still works today. You can have a mix of both. I do sometimes adopt a little bit of the European style, which is I let them express themselves, I let them have a voice, but I know when to curb it, and I know when to say to them, no. There's a difference between having a voice and being purely rude to an adult, or to your mom or your dad or an older person. In the process of allowing your children to have a voice, sometimes you leave the mantle to them and you allow them make decisions. Sometimes that may not necessarily be the right step to take. I'm all for a child having a voice. I'm all for children being articulate. I'm all for children being able to express themselves. But you must contain that leverage you're giving to them. You can't let them run loose and haywire just because you've allowed them a voice. Similarly, a lot of Black people are saying to me that the culture in the United Kingdom, they're not putting enough pressure or enough, they're not doing enough. The system is not doing enough. The system is letting these boys down. The system is not giving them sense of focus. The fathers are being locked up in jail, so these children are growing up without fathers, no male figures, no male mentors. I hear things like this, and you know what my answer to that is? Sometimes I have to say this. I look back to Africa. There are children whose parents are dead and no more. There are boys who have no fathers. There are boys who have managed to raise themselves beneath, the hardship, the poverty. Even in Syria, there are children who have lost their fathers, But does that mean they have to carry knives? Does that mean they have to belong to gangs? No, the answer is no. So yes, while that may play a very big role in the situation, I get the fact that only a man can teach another man how to be a man. And it is only a male figure that can impact a boy child, a teenage boy, to the extent that a mother may not be able to impact a male child the way a father will impact a male child. But that doesn't mean we should stop trying. That does not mean because you're a single mom, or there's no mother, there's no father in the picture, there's no male figure around you, and then you begin to act vulnerable. You've got to keep going. You've got to keep trying. We don't stop trying. We can't stop trying for the sake of these children. This topic is so... I'm trying really hard not to be so emotional about it, because I'm sick of seeing young Black kids dying, drop dead every time on the streets. What's the reason? Knife crime, gun crime, mistaken identity, gangs. And I wonder, where are the parents? When your child leaves home, do you check his rucksacks? Do you check his book bags? Do you get your child's mobile phone? Do you go through his mobile phones? Do you question, who is this on your phone? Who is this guy? Why does he look like this? I do that. I ask my kid, who's this boy on your phone? He looks dodgy. Why has he got that kind of look on his face? Why is he dressed like that? I ask questions. You may call me a nosy mom, or a mom who's got no... Yes, anything you want to label me as, that's fine. But I'm getting the job done. I'm getting the job done. I don't want to wake up tomorrow and someone calls me and says, oh, your son was found with someone, or when he should be at school, he's loitering. Yes, my son may get to school late sometimes, which is not acceptable. But I know on those occasions that he's arriving at school late because of whatever reasons. But when a child begins to get, skive off school, hang about in street corners, instead of going home from school, then you begin to, the alarm bells should begin to ring. And if as a parent, you cannot do anything because you've run out of your wits end, you need to reach out to someone. Africans, Black community, we need to pull together. If you think that child is too troublesome, too stubborn, or you've done everything in your power and you can't do any more, please do not give up on that child. Please reach out to someone who can. Reach out to a friend at the church. Somebody can still reach that child while he's still alive. You don't want, when a child dies, there's nothing you can do. That is the end of it. And if we feel the United Kingdom as a system, the Metropolitan Police as a system is failing the children, then the Black community, we've got to step in. We've got to step in. We've got to step up. If the system is failing us, then let's come together as one voice. Let's figure out how to tackle the problem, and then we take it to the authorities ourselves, because perhaps the authorities do not care. Perhaps, maybe we're right. Maybe the system's not doing enough to help the Black community. Maybe the media is propagating this news and hyping it up so much so that it looks like it's really worse than it really is. Maybe there's not enough resources to actually do as much as the Metropolitan Police would like to do, or the system would like to do for the Black community in the United Kingdom. Maybe the United Kingdom as a whole, maybe they don't care. After all, it's Black kids killing Black kids. Who cares? It's Black on Black. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's a case of even the Black people themselves are not doing enough. They get what you sow, what you put out there is what you get in. There's so many maybes. The list is endless. But it doesn't change the fact that boys are dying. It doesn't change the fact that, in a total of 100 deaths, 40 are Black kids, young Black teenage boys. It's not going to change the figures. I know that white kids are dying as well. I know that, non-Black kids are dying. But the fact is, the toll, the numbers, the figures, the occurrences, they're not lying. They're showing us what is happening. And at the top of this chart are Black boys, Black African boys. It's a very emotional topic, like I said earlier. And I don't know if I've done enough on this subject today, but I'm happy and I'm willing to revisit this topic again. But for now, I'm going to stop here today. My message today is the Black community. If the Metropolitan Police doesn't care about the Black system, if the United Kingdom doesn't care about the Black kids that are dying, as some people feel, then you, the Black community, what are you doing? What are you doing? These are your children being killed. These are your own kids, your blood being wasted, being shed on the streets. Forget about what the system will do for you, can do for you. What are we going to do for ourselves? How are we going to use our voices? How are we going to pull through together? Because we can't just sit back. 2018 has come to an end. We're going into 2019. And my God, I don't want to see any more death tolls. I don't want to hear about Black on Black. Black boys stabbing Black boys. Black gangs killing a rival Black gangs. This is senseless. It doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous. So I'm urging the Black community, Africans in diaspora, Africans, Nigerians, Zimbabweans, Ugandans, Tanzanians, Zambians, Jamaicans, Caribbeans, every Black person in the United Kingdom, wherever you live, it doesn't matter. Don't wait for it to happen. Let's pull together. Let's unite. There's power in our voices. I promise to revisit this topic again because there's a lot that I haven't mentioned and haven't talked about. But I want to leave the topic today again. I'm just going to keep saying this. The Black community, we need to pull through. Parents, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunties, friends, if you love your children, if you appreciate life, let's pull through together with one voice and let's do something about the senseless killings, the knife stabbings of black young children, black young boys, black teenage boys. Let's pull together as one in the United Kingdom. Let's come together with a proposition for the system. The system does not understand the way we see it. We're Africans. We have a culture. We have a way to reach out to our children. We have a language that's a universal African language, regardless of our differences, our geographical differences. We're African. No matter where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. Thank you for watching my vlog today, and please stay tuned for my next video. And also remember to like, subscribe, and please do share this video and leave your comments, because I'd love to hear from you, because this is a topic that actually affects every black person living in the United Kingdom. Thank you. Bye.